So today I will discuss about FTIR, Fourier Transform Infrared Spectroscopy. If you will see in the arena of analytical world, you will find that FTIR is a very important analytical technique which is used in all spectrum of life in present. You will see the electromagnetic spectrum. You will find that cosmic rays, you can say they are the very small wavelength, 10 to the power minus 12. Then gamma rays, then X rays, then ultraviolet rays, and then the visible light, visible region that comes in picture, which is followed by after that the infrared rays, and then microwaves, radar, radio waves. So this is the spectrum, electromagnetic spectrum of different kind of waves. If you will further divide the IR spectrum or IR wavelength, then you will find the near infrared that is start 0.76 to 1.5, and middle infrared 1.5 to 5.6, and far infrared 5.6 to 1000. And here you are seeing a animated picture where you are seeing the infrared, visible, ultraviolet, X-rays, gamma rays. So it is indicating that if you will keep all those wavelengths of electromagnetic spectrum at a particular uh, point, then you can rotate it just like a circle, and you will start from maximum to minimum or minimum to maximum. Uh, the definition and facts about the FTIR. Fourier transform infrared spectroscopy is a technique which is used to obtain an infrared spectrum of absorption or transmittance of a solid, liquid, or gas. This definition indicates that this technique is able to analyze the material or sample in the form of solid or liquid or gas. So all three common state of material can be analyzed by using this technique. FTIR spectrophotometer simultaneously collects high resolution spectral data over a wide spectral range. Means in general, if you will see the range of FTIR, it covers 400 centimeter inverse to 4000 centimeter inverse. And it is used to identify the functional groups in a molecule. Functional groups like alcoholic group, nitrile group, sulfide group, carboxylic group, n number of functional groups are possible. And all those type of groups can be identified successfully by using this FTIR. Interatomic bonds absorbs the IR energy. And this absorption is quantified with the help of an interferogram. And thereafter, this interferogram is transmitted by using the Fourier transform equation to get the precise results in the form of wave number and transmittance. You will see the introduction. Basically, JBL Fourier, they gave fundamental methods of mathematics, which further used in spectroscopy to make it more powerful. FTIR spectroscopy consists of absorption, reflection, emission, or photoacoustic spectrum, which is acquired by Fourier transform of an optical interferogram. From where will you get this optical interferogram? When a radiation will incident on a sample, then the sample will absorb a part of that radiation as per the potential of different bonds which are comes in the way of that radiation. FTIR is such a powerful analytical technique that many frequency components can be identified simultaneously. When the power of Fourier transformation is integrated, I will come on that point. Power of Fourier transformation is integrated from 1 to infinity. With spectrophotometers, the resultant technology multiplied the device analytical potential. Analytical potential. Suppose if you will compare this technique with conventional IR analytical technique or IR spectrophotometer, then you will find this technique is much better and much precise and uh, quick also. So FTIR spectrophotometers are available in different frequency ranges, covering over ultraviolet, visible range, infrared, mid-infrared, and even the far infrared region by opting for various beam splitters, slits, and detectors. The range of infrared region is 12,800 to 10 centimeter inverse and can be divided into near infrared region, mid infrared region, and far infrared region. Below infrared, microwave region starts, and above that, the visible region starts. The FTIR is an analytical technique for chemicals and chemical compound and substituent groups. And this technique is based on absorption of radiation that works on molecular vibrational or rotational motion principle. In the 19th century, when the application of IR light was searching, the concept of FTIR was initiated. Because if you will see the IR light based spectrophotometers, then you will find they are very time taking, very slow. And the results are also not as precise as you get from FTIR. If you will see the history, started in 1880s when Michelson originated a interferometer, which was known later as Michelson interferometer. And that interferometer was used by Michelson and Morley to determine the speed of light. So if you will talk about the interferometer, that was very big invention of that time. And Michelson had become Nobel laureate in 1907 for calculating the exact speed of light. So you can just understand that every time a product development doesn't give the Nobel Prize, and that doesn't consider this is the very big research. Sometimes the fundamental research that also uh, prepare platforms for many upcoming researches. So Michelson was unable to opt the benefit of Fourier transform spectroscopy, but because a number of double spectrum were obtained. What was the reason that Michelson did not get the proper benefit of Fourier transform? Because that time there was no computer was available. And if you will go for the manual calculation of Fourier transform of n number of positions or n number of spectrum interferograms, it is not possible to calculate the precise values, and it takes too long time. The Michelson was well aware about the scope of interferometer, but due to absence of powerful detectors, because powerful detectors were not available, electronics was not in that situation where at present it is. And Fourier transform algorithm actual potential was remained unused in practical applications. The actual Fourier transform spectroscopy came into its existence after 1940. In 1949, first FTIR came in picture, became possible to work out the required Fourier transform manually. So you can just understand. In 1949, even the Fourier transformation was conducted manually. At that instant, other scientists had produced different interferometer like Fabry-Perot interferometers, lamellar grating. The lamellar grating spectrophotometers was common with Michelson interferometer because both spectrometers used double beam multiplex to provide interferogram. This double beam, this is very common terminology which is used by various academicians and various scientists. What is the what they want to explain? Basically, double beam is a concept. When we use double beam in the spectrophotometer, basically the analytical power of that spectrophotometer that enhances, and our results becomes more precise. Double beam, one beam will penetrate through the reference material, another beam will penetrate through your sample. So that is the concept of double beam. The optical pitching tool in lamellar grating spectrometer consists a couple of mirrors with tongue and groove positioning. As the top of both the mirrors come in common plane, it looks like one common big mirror split into number of horizontal strips. I will show you the picture of this lamellar grating spectrophotometer. The first mirror is made of alternate fixed strips, while the second mirror consists fixed and connected strips with move like a piston from one point ahead of the stationary strip to a position behind the stationary strips. So again, this is the concept of two type of mirrors. One is stationary mirror, and another is movable mirror. In simple language, you just understand this sentence. You will see in 1960s, the development that was increased and quick Fourier transform uh, algorithm was developed. By using these inventions, Pons recorded the first near infrared spectra in 1966. And on the basis of this invention, the advances in computers of that time allowed the researchers to compare the lamellar grating spectrophotometer with Fourier transform interferometers. And Fourier transform interferometers was found better in comparison of lamellar grating spectrophotometer. The commercialization of Fourier transform spectrophotometer was initiated by 1970, and the technology was flourished, but extremely high cost was the major hurdle to get popularized across the globe, and the initial cost of FTIRs were too high. The present FTIRs are connected with very fast computers after 1980s, because of 1980s, 80s and 19, that is the decade which is known for very rapid growth in the field of computers hardware, particularly the computer hardware. This is a lamellar grating type of spectrophotometer. Here, the tongue part is there, and there is an inner piston where these uh, mirrors will move. Outer cylinder, that is fixed, and first mirror is at the bottom part of this, and second mirror, that is just like a piston. So as per this second mirror, you are seeing the mirrors divided into horizontal strips. So in this way, the double spectrum or double beam concept that comes in picture, because these horizontal strip will reflect and transmit the material at different path difference. When a quantum of the energy of IR light, quantum of the energy, remember this terminology. When a quantum of the energy of IR light interacts with the molecule, quantum of the energy means a small unit of energy, that is photon. The vibration frequency may increase. Vibration frequency of who? Vibration frequency of sample molecule bond, which is present between two atoms inside that molecule. That will increase, leading to a enhanced vibrational energy level. Means enhanced vibration energy level means H nu is there, that may go up to H1 nu. So molecule may vibrate faster as a diatomic molecule vibrates. Diatomic means one atom is there, one atom is there. These atoms may connect with each other by sigma bond or by pi bond. The infrared absorption takes place in the situation where IR radiation interaction happens with a molecule changing dipole. If you will see the range 4,000 to 1,000 centimeter inverse, this is known for functional group region. Remember, this is very important point. This can be asked in your examination also. This is the functional group region in FTIR. Then your answer should be 4,000 to 1,000 centimeter inverse. And below 1,000 centimeter inverse, it is known as the fingerprint region. fingerprint region. This is also important. Important terminology, important point. Less than 1000 centimeter inverse is known as fingerprint region, where the spectra are more complex, very close with each other, and it is very hard to assign what is there. So this is called as the fingerprint region. When a specimen is subjected to infrared radiation, molecules of specimen material absorbs IR radiation of specific wavelength selectively, which indicates the alteration of sample molecules. Alteration of sample molecules means dipole moment, polarization. Whatever electrons which are present between two atoms, they will shift towards one atom, or where the positive charge is there, or north pole is there. So from south pole, electrons will shift towards north pole. So polarization will occur there. Consequently, sample molecule vibration energy level change or jump from ground or basic state to an excited state or next state. The dispersive spectrophotometers have opted double beam design. Both beams have an equivalent intensity generated from the same source passing through the sample and reference chambers as independently. I will come on these points. I will discuss and prove you. These beams are called reference and sample beam because these beams alternately focused on the detector. The simple beam will be, or the sample beam will be traveling through the sample, while the other beam will pass through a reference material to register the comparative transmission of photon wavefront for the analytical point of view. One beam will pass through the sample and another beam will pass through the reference material. After the incident radiation traveling through the sample, the emitted wavefront of radiation is dispersed by a monochromator, or you can say the grating or slit into its component frequencies. Dispersive system is made of prism or grating, combination of different prism or combination of different gratings with variable slit mechanism, because we have to filter out a particular wavelength, mirrors and filters. It is proved in the case of dispersive spectrometers that narrower slit offer better resolution. Narrower slit means 400 to 600 nanometer, or 700 to 800, something like that. Better resolution by distinguishing more closely spaced frequencies of radiation. The broader slit allow more light to reach the detector and offer improved system sensitivity. So both narrow slit or broader slit have advantages and disadvantages. Now, working principle of a FTIR. FTIR is used to identify the functional group in the sample material, as I have already mentioned, as alcohol, nitrile, carboxylic, amide, sulfide, etc. Monochromatic IR radiation is generated by passing high current through conducting ceramic wire. So this is a kind of energy source where you will generate the monochromatic laser light. Moving mirror is also called as scanning mirror. Beam splitter is partially coated semi-transparent mirror. This is very important. You will very difficultly find this statement in different books and papers. What is beam splitter? Beam splitter is partially coated, not fully coated, partially coated semi-transparent mirror. So beam splitter has its refractive index or refractivity 50% or refractive index 0.5. A sinusoidal signal is reached at the detector. Means continuous signal will not reach at the detector. Sinusoidal means once the signal from reference material and once the signal from sample material. So in this way, sinusoidal signal will reach to the material detector. The frequency of the sinusoidal signal depends on the speed of mirror and wavelength of radiation. Frequency of sinusoidal signal. What will be the frequency which is reaching at detector? That will depend on the speed of mirror. Speed of which mirror? Speed of movable mirror. At what speed this movable mirror is moving and creating the path difference. And the wavelength of radiation. What is the wavelength of that radiation? So Fourier transform converts time domain spectrum into frequency domain spectrum. Time domain spectrum into frequency domain spectrum, because we are interested in how much frequency, at what frequency absorption is there and how much absorption is there. So now you can see two atoms are there and which are connected by a sigma bond. It may vibrate faster like a diatomic molecule vibrates. When the energy will come to the system, or if energy will exit from the system, the material or this dipole, that will switch over from high energy state to lower energy state, or lower energy state to high energy state. And that you can see here in the form of this ellipsoid. Intermolecular distance is there, the molecular to molecular distance is there, and energy. These are the levels, quantized energy level. First one, you can say the H0, H1, H2, H3, H4, H5, like this. These are quantized energy levels. Here you can see the much more precise concept of FTIR, or FTIR by more preciseness, you can say. So one IR source is required there, then IR source will create the IR light, that light will come to the sample. Sample will absorb a part of that light, and a part of the light will reflect back towards IR source, and the remaining light will transmitted through the sample, and that will reach up to detector. Now what will happen when this light will incident on sample material? Due to interaction with IR radiation, when IR radiation will interact with the bonds which are present in the sample material, what will happen? The IR radiation starts the vibration in interatomic bonds which are present in the molecule. Now what kind of vibration will take place? These vibration can be divided in two parts. First one is stretching type of vibration, another is bending type of vibration. Again, stretching type of vibration can be further subdivided into two groups: symmetric stretching vibration and asymmetric stretching vibration. And then bending vibration can be divided into four classes: scissoring, wagging, rocking, and twisting. Now you can see the stretching, symmetric and asymmetric stretching. You can see top one, first one and second one. Symmetric stretching, like this. At a time, both atoms are come close with the center atom, and then they are going away at same pace from the center atom. So this is symmetric stretching. Then your second one is asymmetric, means one is going away, another is going coming close. This is going away, this is coming close. But this is stretching. This is not bending. So this is asymmetric type of stretching. Now come on bending. First one is scissoring. Scissoring, you can just see scissoring like that. Means both atoms are coming close like that. So this is scissoring action. Next one is rocking. You know, rocking like that. So this is rocking. Both are going in one direction simultaneously. Next one is wagging. Wagging like that. This is wagging action. And twisting. Twisting like that. Means some rotational movement is also there. So this is twisting action. So bending will take place by means of these four ways. Now you can see some more action in some other type of atoms, molecules. Here you can see where the black and black center atom is there, and four other atoms which are connected by bond with this center. So this is symmetric stretching, which you can see here in top molecule. Then at bottom, this is not stretching because this is doing a different type of action. Which one is this action? This is basically scissoring action, which you are seeing here also. Okay. In third one, this is moving like that. This is doing like a wagging action or wagging bending. Now you come on this interferometer. This is the heart of this instrument. Interferometer. Without interferometer, you can't imagine any kind of FTIR. So interferometer is the heart of this instrument. What are the essential parts of this interferometer? One, infrared source is required, which you can see here. This is infrared source. Infrared source will generate the infrared light when the very high amount of current will pass through the fine element of ceramic. This beam splitter, what is the purpose of this beam splitter? Beam splitter is again, I am saying this is 50% coated mirror, which has its conductivity 50%, reflectivity 50%. So due to this 50% coating, this will break this infrared light beam into two parts. One is one part, one component that will move towards fixed mirror, another component will move towards movable mirror. But both waves or light waves पूरा बॉक्स हाँ प्लेट लीजिए पूरा बॉक्स हाँ कराइए हाँ हेलो हेलो हाँ एंकर का दे दीजिए या सिमंस का दे दीजिए ये पूरा जो टॉप है ना ये हाँ जिसमें ये 15 एम्पियर का सॉकेट है हाँ तो ये पिक्चर लेके क्या है ना बच्चा उसी के अनुसार से हाँ पूरा चाहिए पूरा नहीं पीछे का बॉक्स नहीं चाहिए बॉक्स का क्या बॉक्स तो लगा so both components are shown by blue one. Now I have written zero path difference. Why? Because beam splitter has splitted in two parts but not created any path difference. So path difference is zero. Now the component which is reaching up to fixed mirror that will reflect in similar way. But the component which is going up to movable mirror, suppose this mirror will move in backward direction. How much? 1/4 of this lambda. 1/4 of lambda. So 1/4 will move like in this direction and 1/4 will coming back up to original position. So total हाँ ठीक नहीं मैंने भेज भी दिया मेल भी भेज दिया चेक करके मुझे बताओ आपको मिला के नहीं so total path difference will be lambda by 2. Now what will happen? Now you come on this picture. This total path difference lambda by 2. If this path difference is not there, zero path difference is there, both waves will consist this lambda as a path difference, sorry, zero path difference. Constructive interference will take place. When this constructive interference will come, if lambda equal to 0, delta path difference is 0 or 1 or 2, means 0 lambda 2 lambda. But due to this movement of this movable mirror, when you created a path difference of lambda by 4, or lambda by 2, what will happen? The destructive interference will take place and you will get a wave like this. Correct? So one wave that will come in this form, another wave that will come in this form due to constructive interference. What will happen? This detector, this will get two type of waves. Now in this picture, this is not possible to explain. Now you come on this picture. Here you will get how these two type of waves, two different waves come to the detector. You see, this is radiation source, IR source. When a very high level of current will pass through this ceramic wire, the IR light will generate. And that will come to this mirror. And this mirror moves like this. Okay. So that will create, that will reflect the light. And that will move up to mirror M1. And the same component will move up to mirror M1 dash. Now the IR light beam, IR radiation beam, that will reflect by mirror M1, that will pass through the reference cell. Reference cell consists of a reference material. And what is that reference material? KBr. KBr. And it means the light intensity will not change because there is no absorption is there. So whatever intensity of light is here, the same intensity will remain there. And this mirror M2 will reflect up to mirror M3. The purpose of mirror M3 is to combine the light and reflect it towards this diffraction grating. Now, so this is another component which is coming up to mirror M1 dash, and the same light is reflecting towards sample cell. So at this stage and at this stage, there is no difference in this IR light. This is beam chopper. Chopping means cutting. How this beam cutting will take place? This beam, once this beam will move up to this point. So when this chopper will come at this point, this will block the radiation which is coming through this reference cell, which is transmitted through the reference material. So what will happen? The light ray or this IR light beam which is passing through the sample, that will allow to go up to mirror M2 dash, and that will reach up to mirror M3. And that will pass through the slit and come up to the diffraction grating. Now, suppose what will happen in next step? This beam chopper will go down and that will come up to this level. So what will happen? The IR radiation which is coming through the sample, that will block at this point. And the IR radiation which is coming through the reference cell, that will go forward. And this time, this beam will reach up to the diffraction grating, and through slit, it will reach up to this detector. This is detector. So what will happen? What I want to say, the purpose of diffraction grating is to break this IR source into fine bands, very fine bands, because these spikes which you are seeing here, they have the different reflective index there. And slit, what is the purpose of slit? Suppose this will create the whole IR individualization, but our interest is 400 centimeter inverse to 4000 centimeter inverse. So this slit will allow only that spectrum, and that will reach up to this detector. So this detector will receive two type of radiation in sinusoidal fashion. Sinusoidal means intermittently. Once it will get radiation which is coming through the reference cell, and once after that it will get the radiation which is coming to the sample. So both radiation, both wavelength will be different due to the path difference which is created by movable mirror, which I have explained in the previous picture. Now, what is there? This detector will send the signals to amplifier, and amplifier will send the signal to the computer, and where the Fourier transformation will take place and you will get the proper results. The deflector radiation will go up to stationary mirror. Non-deflector radiation will go to the movable mirror. Beam splitter is mounted at 45 degrees to the horizontal. The half, these all statements are very important. The half of the reflected radiation from movable mirror will go through the splitter towards radiation source, and half will go to the sample. As you know, the beam splitter has 50% refractive index. So that will allow only 50% light which is coming up to that point. So 50% it will send back to the IR source, and 50% allowed to go forward. Similarly, the half of the reflected radiation from stationary mirror will go through the splitter towards sample, and half will go to the towards radiation source. Two radiation of different wavelength will go to the sample. Beam splitter will recombine the components of radiation coming back from both stationary and movable mirror. Sample will absorb the radiation partially, and remaining part will transmit it to detector. And detector will present it in the form of interferogram. So whatever information that will reach up to amplifier and computer, that will come in the form of interferogram. Now, what is this interferogram? I am coming on that point. The interferogram intensity will Fourier transform, and frequency versus transmittance or absorbance graph will appear. What is this Fourier transform? Y, that will be your transmittance or absorbance, and this is a function of A0 sine 0 omega x plus B0 cos 0 omega x plus A1 sine 1 omega x plus B1 cos 1 omega x plus dash 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 and NAN means nth number of component sine n omega x plus Bn cos n omega x. What does it indicate? To come on this picture. Yes, this one. These are, this is 0, this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4, this is 5. So in this way, it will go up to n.
So it's a type of binary equation.
Yes. This is a transformation, Fourier transformation. Basically, you can say the integration. Now, this omega, this is 2 pi upon x2 minus x1. What is the purpose of this x2 minus x1? Suppose your x2 is 0 and x1 is 10. You will get this type of interferogram. When you will enhance this range, means x1 is again 0 and x2 is 20, you will get more diffracted or clear interferogram. And when you will further enhance it up to 30, you will get further clarity in your interferogram. Now, this Fourier transform equation can be rewrite in compact form, n equal to 0 to infinity, and an sine n wx plus an cos n wx. So in this way, this integration will take place, and you will get the spectrum, IR spectrum. The resolution of FTIR will depend. Resolution, what kind of resolution you will get? How this resolution is decided? The resolution of FTIR will depend on moment of movable mirror. Moment of movable mirror. Now, for example, the resolution is that is nu, and it is 1 upon moment of movable mirror. If it is plus minus 2, what is this plus minus 2? Moment of movable mirror means 2 centimeter ahead and 2 centimeter backward, means again on same position. So total moment is 4. So your this nu will be 1 upon 4, and your resolution will be 0.25 centimeter inverse. The moment of movable error is directly proportional to FTIR resolution. The FTIR gives low signal to noise ratio compared to IR, because in case of IR, there is no Fourier transformation is there. So maximum noise you will find there. Better resolution is there, better results and better preciseness is possible in FTIR. I was saying this reference material. What is the reference material? This is KBR. Is used as reference material because it remains transparent throughout the IR frequency range, 4,000 to 400 centimeter inverse, which is because maximum functional group have absorbency in that range. And beam splitter sends transmitted signal to reference and sample material. I have put in the picture. Beam splitter is made of material which has 50% refractive index. The detectors may have, because all the time you find the word detector. What kind of detectors are available in the market and what is the function of these detectors? So bolometer, thermocouple, thermistor, Gauge detector, photoconductivity detector, pyroelectric laser energy detector, and semiconductor detector. These are the type of detectors which are used to detect different type of signals. Particularly in maximum number of FTIR, this pyroelectric laser energy detectors are used. Generally, pyroelectric laser energy detectors are used in FTIRs. Now, here you can see the interferogram and FTIR spectrum. See, interferogram is converted to spectrum through Fourier transform. Okay, that is different. Here, this is the pure interferogram. Means interferogram will produced by detector. So mirror position in mm, because the path difference that will convert here in directly by mirror position, and here you will get the light which is measured by the detector. How much light is measured by the detector? So this interferogram doesn't have uh, too much value for scientific point of view, because we can't analyze these type of signals. So what will happen at each and every point, the sine and cosine function of these measured light that will convert and it will integrate it by that will transform by using this Fourier transform equation. And finally, this type of interferogram will convert into this type of spectrum. So interferogram will convert into spectrum, and you will get the result on your computer screen in this form. Correct? So I was saying that after 1000, you will get very close peaks that is called as the fingerprint region. But here, this region give you a lot of informations. Now you come on this peak. This is 3330. This is 2896. So suppose C double bond C is there. I'm not saying this is the exact. I'm just taking the example. Is there here the 100% light is reaching, but here only 85% light is allowed. It means 15% absorption is there. So this is showing the intensity, or you can say the existence of that type of functionality in that molecule. Now, this is another peak, but the absorption is not as high as it is present at 3330. And similarly, the other peaks are also showing. So these peaks are indicating about various functional groups which are present in this material. If you will magnify this FTIR spectra, you will get these type of spectrum on your computer screen. So suppose you want to know what is here. As you will take your bring your cursor at this point, the exact wave number you will get there. At any point, and even suppose you want to further magnify this point, you will just put the cursor here and you will double click, or you can magnify it. So each and every point you can identify and you can know about the Babe number, what Babe number is there, how much absorption is there. So all precise informations are possible by using this FTIR. Now, what is the difference between FTIR and IR? Because IR is conventional technology and FTIR is developed or latest technology. IR spectrophotometer takes several minutes to scan a sample. FTIR takes few seconds to scan a sample. Detector receives only few percent of energy of basic light radiation. Few percent, only few percent. So whatever signal will generate, those signals remain very weak. Detector receives 50% of energy of basic light radiation because you know the VV whisper will allow 50% light. Lot of noise remains present in spectrum. What does it mean by noise? When such type of ups and downs, if these ups and downs are too much, then it will be very difficult to find out or identify or segregate if absorption with noise. Is it due to the presence of functional group or is it due to the noise? So a lot of noise remains present in traditional IR spectrophotometer, but in case of FTIR, a lot of noise is removed from the spectrum and you are getting these type of peaks, fine peaks, which are free from noise. So this is FTIR of wool fiber. If you will see the wool fiber, you will find various functional groups which are present there because a lot of these 18 to 20 amino acids are present in wool fiber and 16 to 18 or generally 16 amino acids are present in silk fiber. So wool is more complicated fiber in comparison of silk fiber, and it is a natural elastic fiber also. So in this way, we can analyze not only the fiber, we can analyze any kind of material. You can analyze the sand, you can analyze the cement, you can analyze the gas, you can analyze the oil, but different kind of sample holders are required to identify different type of material. This is the FTIR of silk. Sorry, the title is wrong. This is not for wool. This is wool was for previous one. This is the comparison between Eri silk and Tassar silk. So in case of Eri silk, you are getting the peak at 1669, but in case of Tassar silk, you are getting peak at 1666. Similarly, peak you are getting 1560 here, 1540. 1379 here, 1370. So these peaks are indicating the functional groups or amino acids. Amino acids are same, but that may be due to the degree of orientation or the twisting of those functional groups which are present in two different kind of silk fibers. These are FTIR for polyethylene terephthalate, polyacrylonitrile, and polyethylene, ultra high density polyethylene fiber. So you can compare. Suppose you have a blend of fiber. If you have FTIR, you can do FTIR, and you will find that these blend of the fibers have these type of fibers. But we have some cheaper solutions also. But if you want to do more precise experiments, we can identify our materials by using FTIR also. Now, FTIR applications. Thin polymer films can be used, can be identified by using this FTIR. Free flowing or viscous liquids, they can also be scanned. High to low concentrations of gases, organic powders in pellet or malt form, the thermoplastic materials in powder form, soluble polymers in solution form, regular shaped polymers with a specific preparation, irregular shaped polymers, specific preparation, dark polymer films free from carbon filling. All type of materials can be scanned by using the FTIR, in which a few list is present here. Now, if you will see the FTIR, you will find a big box type of FTIR. If you will see the initial models of FTIR, you will find very big models because those times the electronics, the major developments in electronics was not there. But nowadays, portable FTIR is also available. You can see in this picture. Agilent has developed Agilent 4300. This is handhold FTIR, and this you can keep, you can take with you. And another company that is called the DNP Instrument. This company is also developed a portable FTIR with an its commercial or model name 102, DP Instrument or FTIR 102. Now, what is the need? How these portable FTIR are, why these portable FTIRs are required? First one is these are portable, handhold. You can handle it very easily. You can carry it easily. It is luggageable or backpack devices. You can pack it easily. Transportable, which can be mounted in a specific type of vehicle. A portable FTIR spectrophotometers have the following features like a short period of warm-up time is required in comparison of a traditional FTIR. Quick analysis is possible. Tiny amount of specimen is sufficient, very small amount. For scanning like a single crystal of salt, NaCl, that will give you ample information, ample signal about that material. Some portable FTIR spectrophotometers can run by battery power also. Means you don't require the proper power connection. So suppose you are in forest, you are on top of the mountain where you don't have the electricity. These FTIR can work there to identify the rocks, to identify different type of unknown materials which are present there. Advantages of these portable and FTIR itself. Protective clothing that can be analyzed at the service site means at warfare site. You can directly put these FTIR there and you can analyze those protective clothing. During chemical warfare, portable FTIR can be used to scan the items immediately. Rather than wait for days in the laboratory, you can immediately start the application. Paint coating or aircraft, you can use, because aircrafts cannot come inside the laboratory. So you have to move your instrument there. So these type of FTIRs are very much useful there. To study the photochemistry of smoke produced by forest fire, smoke, you can analyze by using these portable type of FTIRs. To study the content of insecticides in agriculture products on site, means in the field. You want to do analysis for insecticides present in edible items. So these type of FTIRs are very useful there. To be used in petrochemical industry, to study the cosmetic products on site, all these type of applications are possible. Now I'm saying that these are some absorption peaks, and these are the elemental configuration identity. Suppose absorption peak is available at 895, then it is indicating that COC bond is there and it is in plane. This is symmetric existence is there. 985 rho CH and 1005 CH, 1025 COH, 1050 COH at 2-degree alcohol. Similarly, the 3335 was there. So this is free OH group is there. This is indicating that hydroxyl group is free. 2900 CH free group is there. COH or CO ester group is there. That will be identified at 1735 centimeter inverse. So similarly, different type of elemental configuration identities are possible. So now come on conclusion part. The IR spectroscopy was very robust analytical technique since the beginning, but after FTIR spectroscopy, the scanning potential has been enhanced in multifold. All fundamental concepts of FTIR spectroscopy along with presently opted instrumentation has been discussed comprehensively. FTIR's application approach has been reached to gas, liquid, solid, bulk, powdered, and number type of material like thin films, thick films, transmitted material, reflective materials, all type of materials means a wide range of materials can be identified or scanned. The optimization of contributory parameters, sample mounting practices, signal processing, and data scrutiny has been described. The characteristics, vibrational absorption bands used for identifying vital chemical structure and methods for quantitative measurement of chemical composition are overviewed. Means quantitative, how much absorption is there. So it not only it is indicating the presence of a functional group, it is identifying the quantity of that functional group also. So potential problems often encountered in using the differential FTIR technique in material and chemical species characterization are also discussed. For Fourier transform infrared spectroscopy, FTIR is a fast and non-destructive analytical method because your sample will remain unchanged, means there is no significant change in the structure of the material. It will not burst, it will not burn. The application of FTIR has been expanded to investigate the content of phenolic compound, antioxidant potential of various biomolecules, and it is exhaustively used for chemistry, pharmaceutical, material science, and life science samples also. FTIR spectroscopy is a multifaceted tool in the pharmaceutical sector with a wide range of applications starting from characterizing drug formulations to interpret kinetic mechanism in the drug delivery process also. So in this way, we can say FTIR is very powerful technique and it is required in all segments of our life. It starts from uh, the pharma industry and it may go up to the oil, paint, cement, petroleum, food items. These n number of places are there where you will find the FTIR is working precisely, successfully for analytical purposes.